Hey everyone, this is Riley at Antidote 71, and today we're going to be going over and reviewing the SEO Screaming Frog tool. Before we begin, it's important to note that we here at Antidote 71 use the Screaming Frog tool primarily before we start SEO projects just to get a nice baseline of everything. So what is Screaming Frog? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like, a screaming frog. No, just joking. Screaming Frog is a website crawler primarily used to point out issues that Google may see when they crawl your website. It's important to see this data because if you know what Google is indexing and what they can see, it can better help you understand how you can improve your website. So, where can you find this tool? Well, if you visit their website, you can find their tool and download it for Windows, Mac, and Linux systems. They do offer a free version and a paid version. Of course, the free version comes with some limitations, but overall it's a pretty good tool. Some of these limitations are 500 URLs per crawl, all manual crawling, and crawls can't be saved. But if you do decide to go for the paid license, it is $259 annually, but it does unlock additional features like a Search Console integration, saving your past crawls, and also lifting that crawl limit to be unlimited. There's a whole other list of additional features that can be found on their website if you do decide to go with the paid version. Now that that's out of the way, why would you want to use Screaming Frog in the first place? Well, like mentioned earlier, Screaming Frog helps point out errors that web crawlers come across when crawling your website. These issues can be very easy to miss with the naked eye, so using this type of crawler can really help point those areas out. Additionally, most of the data that Screaming Frog gives is actionable and can lead to quick wins and easy fixes on your website. Some of the best actionable feedback comes from internal and external links, headings, and your meta descriptions tabs. So now that I've totally sold you on that tool and you've already gone and downloaded it, how do you use the tool? Well, it's as easy as just taking any URL that you want to crawl and entering it at the very top middle of the page. It's important to note that Screaming Frog also allows you to select a single subdomain or all subdomains attached to the URL. You can also do just the exact URL where it just crawls the single page. Once you have your URL selected and entered in the top middle, you can just hit the green start button and Screaming Frog will begin to do its thing. Usually after a couple minutes, your crawl should be complete, but it does take time depending on how many pages are tied to your subdomain and if you do have all of your subdomains selected. But if you do want to see how far along Screaming Frog is with its crawl, you can see completion percentage down at the bottom right corner. Once the crawl becomes 100% complete, you can pat yourself on the back. Congrats, you've done it. You've successfully used the Screaming Frog SEO tool. But the job's not done. We have to utilize the data, sadly. Now that we have the data, we can start glancing through different drop-down sections, which can yield different information depending on which section you look at. While looking at the data, if you want to clean up the right-hand panel a little bit, you can also collapse and expand these sections. This can just help make sure the stuff is not in your way while you're trying to look at the data. So let's dig in. For example, if you want to start digging into the data, let's scroll down and look at the meta description section. This will give you data on how many pages were found to have over/under character, duplicate, missing, and even misplaced meta descriptions. And if you want to dive even further, you can click on any row within this section and it will give you the list of pages that have come across with errors. Now this is just an example, but most of this will apply across all of the sections above. So, to wrap this all up, Screaming Frog is a powerful tool to have in your SEO tool belt, and it can help you address issues that you may or may not even see with the naked eye. It also helps give valuable and actionable feedback at the click of a button. And there is an added bonus that they do offer a free version of the tool, and it isn't even that restrictive comparing it to the paid version. If I had to come up with some negative points to give to Screaming Frog, I think the biggest point would have to be its UI. This is just due to it being a little confusing for newer users, and it's just not very pleasing to the eye. But with that being said, I would have to give Screaming Frog a 4 out of 5 just due to its usefulness and how fast it can compile easy and actionable data. Plus, it's got a free version of the tool. You can't really beat that. Do you use Screaming Frog? How helpful do you find the tool? Let us know in the comments.